It's Feminine Fridays. No, we weren't going to leave you without a Feminine Fridays today. I know it's a later time, but Diane, welcome. It's so good to be back on our Friday and start our weekend off.
Great to see you, Laura. It's always good to be that Friday to kick it off, and this time is with connection.
Yeah. So we love to connect here with people. We talked about community and connection a few weeks back, but you know what? I think we can all use a little bit more connecting. I actually feel very connected these days because of our virtual tools that we have in the world. I've
Right.
been connecting more with people this last 6, 12 months than I have ever before. It seems like, and deeper even. Have you found
Right.
that?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of, to me, it's always that, in person that I love. But having tools like Zoom, like here, we get to see each other and we get to be together. And, it's funny, you and I had talked before this day even started about doing connection. And today, working with, we have a VIP couple that we've been working with. And one of the things that kept coming down to, like, when you look at what are the common values between people, it came down to connection. It came down to, yes, we do things together, and yes, we, spend time together, but how are we really connected? And what's that even mean? Like, you can say, hey, let's get connected, but does that mean like you go for a walk together? Do you discuss something that's important to you? Like, it's interesting when you talk about connection, because one person can feel completely connected and the other person can be totally disconnected, and you're not on the same page with that. So I love that we're talking about connection, because part about being connected is talking with the other person about what do they need to actually feel that connection, and what does that even look like. So it's cool.
Yeah. And I think when you have the support of your community, the people in your life, and you feel that support, you feel that you're on the same page with them, you feel that they understand you, there's a connection there that happens, and you feel more at peace and safe in the world.
Yes, I
So,
totally agree.
so if you
Yeah.
want to have less anxiety, if you want to be able to relax, sometimes it's about connection. And to me, there's a couple of forms of connection. We've been talking a lot about connecting with other people, but then there's the connection with yourself.
Hmm.
And it really comes down to, that's the first place to start, because if you're not connected with yourself and then you go to connect with other people, you have a harder time connecting.
Right.
But if you're really connected to yourself and your feelings, and when you get into the room or you get on the phone or you get on a video call with somebody, then more, your body's reacting to the energy of this connection, right? And
Right.
then you can, really evaluate what's going on for you. And if you're connected to yourself first and foremost, you'll know what other outside connection will support you further, because maybe you don't need to be connected right now to someone in the outside. You have to work through stuff on the inside first.
Right, right. Well, and also if you're starting to feel like, isolated or depressed or feeling anxious, really look at who is it that can be a lifeline for you? Who can you reach out and make that connection with? Because when we know that there's somebody out there that cares about us, that loves us, that wants our, I always say, who's your 2 a.m. person that you could call at 2 a.m. no matter what's happening, and they would pick up the phone for you.
Right.
And, it's important to have those people, because we never know where we're going to be triggered by things, or just the ebb and flow of life. It's just these experiences that happen. And to know that there's just one person that you can connect with in the world. If you can't think of that one person, reach out to Laura and I, right? There's
Yes,
somebody
absolutely.
who will respond to you, who will listen to you, who will be there. And it's so important to have those lifelines, because that helps us get through those times. Those connections are their gold to be able to do that. And I love what you're talking about, being connected with yourself, because when you're connected with yourself, then you have that kind of foundation for yourself that you can then reach out to other people. And, that's just becomes that stronger fiber together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I'll be, if I don't have the will, or it's too late and I'm not really in an emergency situation, I don't want to call somebody, I'll think of those people, those 2 a.m. people, right? I'll just kind of put my hands on my heart and I'll start thinking about the love in my life, the people I care about, people I believe who care about me. and just breathe their love in and feel connected, because that really is calming. It really feels like, okay, I'm not alone in the world. I am connected, whether we're in touch or not. I mean, there's people in your life who have come into your life maybe years and years ago, and you still feel connected to them. You know that even that you haven't talked to them in 5, 10, 20 years, you could pick up the phone and pick up right where you just left off from. And
Right.
there's something about this word, this concept of connection, that it doesn't mean you're constantly with someone 24/7. It means that you have a memory and um, a commonality, a common experience perhaps together, that will never leave you, that you could always kind of lean into at any time.
Yeah, I love that. I had a really sweet connection this week that, my parents had something happen with the valve gases in their house, and they had to shut off the gas for the repairs. So they stayed with us for a couple days. And, I've got certain routines that I do, and intermingling those things in. And one thing I do when I get back from the gym is I go into my sauna and I do some of my meditation, and I really enjoy that. Well, my mom was coming into the sauna with me, and it was a time where we could like talk and chat and catch up. And it was one of those things where, we get together at birthdays, and I see my mom more often than probably most people do, but to just have those times in the house where we got to just sit next to each other. And I remember in the moment thinking, wow, this is like, I'm really going to remember this time, because I don't know how long my mother's going to be in my life,
Mm.
or how long something if it happens to me, or who knows, right? It's these moments that we really need to cherish them when they're presented to us. And I thought, wow, how cool is it that I get to spend these sauna mornings with my mom, and my dad and her and I were doing puzzles at night, and just this connection that we got to have. And that, it may not be part of the everyday thing that you do, but when you do these out of ordinary things and you recognize when you're having those connective times, that is the foundation for our memories. Those are some of our most special times, when we really recognize those special connections.
Yeah, and you mentioned puzzles, and for the first time in a long, long time, my husband and I did a puzzle, and it was something we could, and one other thing we could kind of rally around. And so, doing a joint activity is very connecting.
Yeah.
So I love that you had that opportunity to do that. So, what else would you, um, we want to know from people, what else can you do to connect? I know that when women connect, every time we've gotten together, Diane, or I get together with other women, it's even if it's virtually, there's some oxytocin that gets developed. There's this, oh, there's so and so, so good to see them, and there's this bonding hormone that gets released, and we just nurture each other into a better place. And then when we're in a better place, we can impact our family in a more positive way. When we impact our family and our community in a more positive way, what do you think's happening? The world is getting impacted in a better way. So, we went over this card, but it's so applicable. And that's in the Feminine Power cards. And that's how we got started with this whole series here that we do. But when women gather, the world changes. When women gather, the world changes. And so go ahead, reach out to your like minded women friends, because that'll help, bring more energy into your life, that spirit of connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It was thinking, God, it filled my heart so much this week. So my 55th birthday was on Tuesday.
Happy
And thank
birthday!
you. Thank you. And I was so amazed by just the post and love and things that I received from friends from everywhere, from grade school to high school to college, to other moms and entrepreneurs and family members, and just so many different people. But the thing that really had me feel the connection with these people is that there were people that put together like collages where there was pictures with us together, and events we had gone together, and things that we got to experience together. And there was like anywhere from 2 to 10 photos together. And it was like when I saw these different ones scrolling through, and I still haven't had a chance to respond to everyone, which I will. But it's one of those things where I was able to look at it and go, look at all the amazing connections of just amazing people that had great experiences and all these things that we get to look at. And I think if you think about, go through just like an old scroll of just photos and just have that remembrance of that connection, right? Maybe you're not spending as much time with them now or whatever, but just sometimes just looking at a photo can really trigger a connection or feeling good or feeling happy when you can have that memory of those feelings. I was in a text group together of some old dear, spa life friends of mine, and it was a photo of the four of us together, and it was this hysterical photo that I can't necessarily share all the details of here, but it was one of those things by one of our friends just posting that we were just laughing so hard because we remember the memory, remember being there and the things that happen with it and those funny stories and just remembering the stories of our life and the things that we do that fosters like there was a connection then and it's like you're reliving that connection again. So
Right.
what are those things that you can look at, re-experience connection, reaching out to someone, seeing those fun things? That's what's so great about, the old pictures that pop up. It's like, oh, wow, has it been a year since that happened? Right? We have so many great memories to have and so many wonderful connections when we allow ourselves to see how much goodness is out there.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to reach out and don't be afraid to reach in, and a combination is a really, what I'm hearing is really powerful because and the reaching within is remembering, recalling, like going through your feed, going through your photo albums, to just feel connected to your community. If you can't be with them physically or even on the phone or on Zoom, you can still be with them in the memory of it with those pictures, with any journals you might have about it. So connection is possible and very important, especially when we are connected to ourselves, because when we connect, we can respond in a way that brings people together versus puts us at odds with each other. So I think going within is really, really a fun journey, curious journey if we take it,
Absolutely.
and very
Love it.
healing. So I wish everybody a connected weekend. I wish you a happy birthday connected weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So always good to be here with you and to connect with our friends.
Yes. And we'll be back for another Feminine Fridays
All right.
next week.
Bye, everyone. Much love.